Darcy, would you come up, please? We start with a pledge of allegiance, but I have a special friend tonight who's offered to do sign language of the pledge of allegiance. This is Darcy Alcar.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Darcy.
Thank you, Darcy.
Like that, Mr. Mayor. It's my high point.
Yeah.
You would roll call, please.
Yes. You want to say that?
Yeah, roll call.
Ridenhour,
Here.
Osborne,
Here.
Latari. Here. Jones. Here. Euler.
Here. Approval of city council minutes.
Move to approve the April 13th, 2026, April 20th, 2026, and the orientation financial overview minutes.
Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes. Motion to approve the corrected minutes dated March 9th, 2026.
I so move.
Yeah. As corrected.
I move that we approve these minutes as corrected.
Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Adoption of agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have two proclamations tonight, and the first one will be Autism Awareness Month, April 2026. Is there anyone here to come up for this? Oh,
Yes, there is.
serious? Oh, great. Look at everybody on the reach. Autism Awareness Month, April 2026. Whereas autism is a developmental disorder that affects communication, social interaction, behavior, and whereas autism is a lifelong condition that typically appears in early childhood and affects individuals of all races, ethnicities, socioeconomic backgrounds. Whereas early intervention such as therapy and educational support can greatly improve outcomes for individuals with autism. And whereas autism acceptance promotes celebrating the strengths and unique abilities of individuals with autism rather than focusing solely on challenges. And whereas Autism Awesome Stronger Together, Inc. is a Warrensburg-based nonprofit corporation that provides inclusive community programs like Wiggles and Giggles for autistic individuals and families. And whereas every April, autism awareness is observed to promote understanding and acceptance of autism, it begins with World Autism Awareness Day on April 2nd, 2026, as recognized by the United Nations. Now, therefore, I, Bruce D. Euler, Mayor, along with the City Council and the City of Warrensburg, Missouri, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 as Autism Awareness Month. Thank you so much. For the next proclamation, I have something I'd like to read first that Jody and I worked on. We found this in the newspaper, the Daily Star Journal, back in April 1978. Yeah, it's been a while. And the headline on this says the Honorable D. Hudson, April 1978. It's by the Editor of the Daily Star Journal, Avis Tucker. It says, a distinctive item was entered on the pages of the City of Warrensburg Historical Record Tuesday night. For the first time, a woman became the mayor, elected by her peers on the city council. The councilmen were making no concessions to the trend of the times, which touts women's liberation, nor can the election of Dee Hudson be construed as mere window dressing. Though she is a very attractive lady. This is a case of a councilwoman having proved her mettle during the 2 years she has occupied a council seat. As she has served last year as a mayor pro tem, she has earned recognition as an extremely well-qualified individual while demonstrating her ability to carry unusually well the responsibilities of the leadership post in city government. We take special delight in her success because in her council job, she has fulfilled to the letter the profile we projected when we gave her an enthusiastic endorsement as a council candidate in 1976. We did so not because she was a woman, but due solely to her qualifications as a person. Our confidence was not misplaced. Here in part is what we said about candidate Hudson. Frequently in attendance at council meetings, she has shown keen perception, exceptional interest, and understanding as a participant in weighing the pros and cons of pending issues. She is thorough in analyzing the issue at hand and possesses a knack for seeing the practicalities involved. And on top of that, she is articulate. From these traits, she has not deviated in her performance as an office holder to date, and they will characterize her tenure as mayor, we believe. Other newspapers have given Dee Hudson's election attention, bringing recognition to her and to Warrensburg. One headline read, "His honor won't do." We submit is now hers honor. So to the Honorable Dee Hudson, duly elected Mayor of Warrensburg, we offer our congratulations and best wishes for an outstanding mayorship. The Daily Star Journal, Avis Tucker, editor. Dee, if you would come up, please. Yeah.
You can make it past your fan club.
They're all here for you. They are. As soon as this is done, they're all out. I gotta say, when you and Jim moved to Warrensburg years ago, it was a blessing for our city. And I mentioned that on the radio this morning, Woody, and Woody says, you know, when you first met Jim, Woody wanted to learn how to play golf, and he's a great golfer. We all know that. 9 hole-in-one, great golfer. He didn't know how to play golf, and Jim gave him a book on golf. And I said, did you read it? He goes, yeah, I read it. It's from Jack Nicklaus. So just pass that on to you. So in recognition of community service, honoring Dee Hudson. Whereas for over 50 years, Dolores Dee Hudson. Thanks a lot. Dee Hudson has dedicated her time, talent, and unwavering commitment to the betterment of the Warrensburg community. And whereas on April 12th, 1976, he was elected and sworn in as council member for the city of Warrensburg, Missouri, breaking a historic barrier as the city's first female council member. And whereas on April 10th, 1978, Dee was elected as the first female mayor for the city of Warrensburg and served a combined total of 12 years on city council, including 6 years as mayor. Whereas Dee served in leadership roles on multiple county, state, and national boards, including but not limited to Johnson County, Missouri Economic Development Corporation, University Board of Regents for the University of Central Missouri, Warrensburg Chamber of Commerce, Missouri Municipal League, and the National League of Cities. And whereas in the 1980s, Dee continued her advocacy for the public good and helped establish the Friends of Western Missouri Medical Center, laying the foundation for the Western Missouri Medical Center Foundation. During her tenure as volunteer president, the foundation raised more than $2 million. This was to expand access to advanced medical services. And whereas Dee's legacy of compassion and civic responsibility stands as an enduring example for future generations. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Bruce D. Euler, along with members of the Warrensburg City Council, do hereby proclaim April 27th, 2026 as Dolores D. Hudson Day. And we urge all citizens to join us in celebrating this remarkable milestone and expression of our deepest gratitude. Dee, thank you so much. Yeah. I know Dee wants to say a few words. You want to stand
Yeah,
here? Right, I'll let you go.
No, I'm fine. The reason I wanted to say something was because I wanted to tell you why this happened. It was 50 years ago when I was just a child that it really broke ground here to have a female elected as a councilman in Warrensburg. It started in 1975, before the 76 election. There was a group of women in Warrensburg who wanted to participate in a state program called Community Betterment. The state had developed some criteria, and you had the chance to look at that criteria and measure your community against those criteria. And so a group of women decided, you know, we should be doing that. And we did. And we began to look at a variety of things in the city. We broke into committees. We did community betterment first with beautification. We planted all those hawthorn trees around Lions Lake. And then we cleaned up the railroad street because we thought that didn't look very nice for people who were coming on the train. And we planted that beauty spot right down there in front of, right there at the corner. Now these women, I hope I get all of them named, I probably won't, but you're gonna recognize these names. Spearheaded by Marge Stoltz. Do you remember Marge?
Yeah.
She was the one who brought us together, and it was Maureen Ockower and Doris Kirkpatrick and Jamie Euler and Fern Graves, Sue Crouch, Ginger Bale, Diane Lloyd. I hope I didn't leave anybody out, but we were the group that said, we're gonna do this. And so then as we divided, we started looking at the separate areas of the city. We started attending the school board meetings because we wanted to know more about the community. We went to economic development, what we had at that time. We looked at business. Well, let me tell you that Maureen and I were assigned to the city council. So we started attending the city council meetings. Now we're in 1975. 1976 arrived, and our nation was celebrating the 200th anniversary of our nation. And I want you to know that the focus that year was really on the contribution of women to our nation. So, time for council. These women decided, Dee, you have to run for city council. And you know, you say, I don't think so, but anyway. When a group of women decide something's going to happen, you say, okay, we're in for this. So that group of women really and truly is celebrating the 200th anniversary of our nation, decided that we should have a woman on the city council. And that's how it happened. We are at the 250th anniversary of our nation. And so it has been 50 years since I was elected as the first woman to serve on this city council. I want you to know that I think a lot of good things happened in the next 12 years when I served. It really did. But I think one of the main things and the lasting thing that happened was that Warrensburg is not afraid or hesitant to elect a woman to the city council. That's what really happened on that day and from there on. There are 2 of you up here right now, but we've had several women then serve on this city council. Some of them as mayor. But that's what was started 50 years ago when we celebrated the 200th anniversary of our nation. And for the city of Warrensburg, the election of the first woman to this city council. It was, I think, monumental and something that we can be very proud of as women. Thank you, Dee.
Like we get a picture of the
Sure.
We're gonna get a picture of the city council with the.
Hey, Tan. Thank you. Thank you. It's been a ride.
Sean.
I could use the voice.
Dee, you're welcome to just walk through and just say hello. They're here for you.
I'm not.
I'll give it a minute or two, so
Yeah.
we're okay. We're in no hurry.
Love you to stay, but.
Yeah, welcome to stay. Thank you for writing all that up. It's very.
Gosh, of course. And I just noticed I did not have the article in the packet, so I will make sure it gets in there tomorrow. Oh, no, oh, you can, does she? Do you think?
I can.
Do you think she wants it? I can run this. You want me to run it back?
Sure. Hi, Barbara. See you, thanks.
Bye, Barbara. I'm out. Emily's going to. Emily.
Yeah, I think they all are.
Oh, no, you couldn't even get to a movie.
She's awesome. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Bye. Dawn, this is a tough act to follow. I'm so, it's really tough, but.
No pressures.
We have a presentation of early childhood hunger operation presented by Dawn Moore, Executive Director. Thanks, Dawn.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I apologize, I'm having some allergy issues, so I don't have much of a voice. My name is Dawn Moore, and I serve as the Executive Director of the Early Childhood Hunger Operation, also known as ECHO. Since 2010, our mission has been to help end childhood hunger in our community by ensuring our youngest children have access to food when they need it the most. Each week, we provide weekend bags of food to 180 preschool-age children, kids who may have meals during the school week but face hunger when they go home on Fridays. For many of these children, the food in their Echo bag is the only food that they will have from the time that they leave school on Friday until they return on Monday. A teacher once shared a story with me about a child in her classroom who was saving scraps from her classmate's tray to take home. Because of Echo, that child no longer has to do that. That's the kind of quiet, behind-the-scenes impact this program has every day. In 2025 alone, we provided 22,620 meals to local preschoolers. Since we began, we have served more than 225,000 meals. That's over 250,000 times that a child in our community didn't have to worry where their next meal would come from.
That's fantastic.
And there are still more children who need our help. I'm here tonight because Echo needs a new home. We have been incredibly fortunate to operate out of donated space at Abilities, and we are deeply grateful for their generosity over the past several years. However, as they expand their own services, they now need to reclaim that space. We fully support their growth, but that means we must find a new location to continue our work. Echo does not receive state or federal funding. We rely entirely on donations and fundraising to sustain our program. While we are able to cover our operational costs, we simply cannot afford to take on rent. Without a space, our program comes to a halt and the children we serve will go without this support. With the right space, we can continue and even expand our impact. Ideally, we are looking for approximately 1,000 square feet of clean, climate-controlled space on a main or ground level with no steps to ensure accessibility for our volunteers and to accommodate the regular movement of large amounts of food in and out. We need a consistent location where we can safely store food and assemble weekend bags. I'm asking for your help in identifying possible spaces, whether that's unused city property, community facilities, or connections to local organizations, churches, or businesses that may have room to share. When we make sure children aren't hungry, we give them a better chance to learn, grow, and succeed, and that strengthens our entire community. If you have any ideas or leads, I would appreciate the opportunity to connect within the next couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dawn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I give a suggestion? Is that right?
Please do.
Are you already attending the Johnson County interagency meetings or someone from Echo? Do you know?
So not the interagency meetings, but we have attended like the ARC conference.
Oh,
That was
great,
the
yeah.
networking conference
yeah.
last week and different things like that.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. A lot of overlap there, but the Johnson County interagency group meets on the second, I want to make sure I say this right, second Wednesday at noon at the Jack Moore Community Room.
Okay.
And there's always a Zoom option as well. So that would be a great place to to share that information. Again, there'll be some overlap. Were you able to share this at the ARC event? Yeah, yeah. So hopefully some people are kind of marinating on that and thinking about it. But if you or a board member is able to attend those meetings, that, always welcome. Melissa Werner with Journey Home coordinates that. And it's just the Journey Home email to get on that email list. But
Okay.
again, second Wednesdays at noon down there.
That sounds great. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming in. We wanted you to come in so it would make the newspaper. So Joe, if you'd raise your hand, he's with the newspaper back there. So you can give him your information and contact information to get it.
Does ECHO receive some of its funding through Shiloh Baptist Church?
No, we don't.
Oh, I guess I thought you did.
We do not. So we serve, it's basically a back snack program to the preschool age. Shiloh Baptist takes care of the school district K through 12.
Yeah.
So we're a separate program.
And is it, my apologies, is it just Warrensburg or is it Johnson County?
All of Johnson County.
All of Johnson County.
And during the summer, what do you do during the summer?
So for the preschool centers that are open during the summer, we continue to serve them. But for the ones that are out of school, we simply don't have a way to get the food to all those students because we deliver the food to the preschools and then the teachers send it home with the students.
But if they had more volunteers or more funding, they might.
So can I repeat back?
Sure.
You provide the services for the younger children and it's Shiloh that is doing
K through
the
12.
the lunch program or the backpack program for the older kids.
Correct.
Okay. And you both are called ECHO?
No.
They are not called ECHO.
What are they called?
Well, the food comes through harvesters. I get a lot of my food from harvesters and they do as well. But I don't, why do they?
Yeah, Manna Harvest is the,
Harvesters Back Snack Program, but Manna Harvest.
Manna Harvest is the sort of broad nonprofit that does all of the
Okay.
amazing things. that
I
they
can't
do.
speak to them. I'm not exactly sure how they work, but
It's just
we're
confused.
separate.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm just kind of confused because I made a donation to Shiloh and that ECHO I thought was part of it.
We do not receive funding from them.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I had one more question, I'm sorry. The applicants, do you just receive names from the school district or they apply through you or how does that exactly work?
Correct. The teachers identify the students that they feel are at risk for food insecurity. And then they, it's a very simple form. It's basically just saying that they're agreeing to receive a bag of food and the parent's gonna check the bag for the contents to make sure that there's no choking hazards or allergies or anything like that. And then once the teacher sends the form back to us, then we send a bag of food for that child.
Very nice. I know you've been around for quite a while. What year again?
2010.
Wow, very nice. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you. so
Thanks.
much.
Item 6.3, presentation of the fiscal year 2025 audit report presented by John Cummings, KPM CPAs and advisors.
I tried to convince him he filled the house, but he didn't fall for
I
it.
already told him everybody's leaving after D, but.
Yeah, I'm afraid we've reached the applause-free part of the night. Maybe just happy it's over. I don't know. This stuff can be a little bit dry, unfortunately. I live it. And so I love it, but I understand not everybody sees this as their cup of tea. So you should have a bound booklet and it's going to contain your audited financial statements for the year ended September 30, 2025. And we're going to start on page 4, which is the independent auditor's report. And this is where we tell you how you did on your financial statements. And it opens with the opinions section. And in that, you'll see that in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, the business type activities, the discretely presented component unit, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the city of Warrensburg as of September 30, 2025. That is a large, fancy auditor's way of saying you received an unmodified or a clean opinion. So that's the best possible result. And the same as you received last year. And the basis for this opinion is that we conducted our audit in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America and the standards applicable to financial audits contained in government auditing standards issued by the Comptroller General of the United States. And as far as management's responsibilities for these financial statements, management is responsible for preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America, and for the design, implementation, and maintenance of internal control relevant to the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements. So that's a big auditor's way of saying these have been reviewed by the city, accepted by the city, et cetera, even though we did help prepare them. So there you go. So that's all good news so far, right? And I will try and read because the numbers element of this can get a little bit dry and a little bit hard to digest. But I do think it's important to look at some of the information on the financials, just to have a good idea of what's going on with the city. The general fund is obviously one of the most important things, and you can see what I'm going to be talking about on page 25 of the bound booklet. And while you're turning there, I will say thank you to Mike and the team across the street at City Hall for all of the help during the audit. For those that don't know, we asked for a mountain of information, and for whatever reason, everybody in the city doesn't quit coming in that week that we're there. All the things have to keep going, and so they're doing their normal job plus us. And then we actually probably bother people for another couple weeks with electronic means after that. So we do appreciate all the cooperation and help in getting everything that we asked for. They did a great job of getting everything we asked for, so we do appreciate that. On page 25, what you'll see is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances. Again, this is for the year ended September 30, 2025. And your governmental funds are your general fund, your park fund, your capital improvement transportation fund, the capital improvement half-cent fund, the American Rescue Plan Act Fund, debt service fund, two of those, and then a capital improvement bond fund, and then non-major funds. And non-major funds, in case you're curious, are basically just so small they get to be aggregated. So you look at them in total rather than individually like the other ones. But for most people, the general fund of the city is what matters the most and you're most concerned about because it's the most unrestricted of your dollars. And so in your general fund, you had total revenues of $12,152,962. That's down about $98,000 from last year. You did have a decrease in licenses and permits. It was about $87,000, but interest income was up around $45,000, and intergovernmental revenues were up about $36,000. But overall, pretty flat, I would say, as a percentage of budget. On the expenditure side, total expenditures were $12,087,489. That's up about $309,000 from last year. This gave you an excess of revenues over expenditures of $65,473. If you kind of look across to the other side of the page, you'll see the total for all of your governmental funds. And you'll see that you received $22,695,635 in total revenues in all of your governmental funds. And that it does include, your bond funds and debt service funds as well. But those revenues are down about 1.3 million from last year, mostly due to a decrease in revenue within the capital improvement bond fund. And of course, ARPA monies are down. And so your interest revenue overall is down for the year because you're spending down funds a little bit as you go through these projects. So interest rates have gone down, your balances have gone down just a little bit, all to be expected. But overall, pretty good on the revenue front. On the expense front, across all of those same funds, you had $25,690,625. That's up 2.1 million. And just kind of again for perspective, the capital improvement bond fund, you had $6.3 million in expenditures there, which is about $3.4 million more than last year. So again, the increase in expenses, something planned for projects that will benefit the city for years to come. So all good there. Overall, the expenditures overcame the revenues because of those capital improvement projects by about 2.99 million for the year. But overall, not bad. On the next page, the finalization of these particular funds, the general fund, you can see had other sources of funds net, which is transfer in of $483,580, proceeds from sale of assets of $49,800. And that gave a total net change in fund balances for your general fund of $598,853. And so your ending fund balance for the year is $11,804,668. So pretty good year in the general fund. Across all of your governmental funds, again, taking into account that you decreased the capital improvement bond fund by $5.7 million to have a overall decrease of right at $2.4 million is pretty good. You ended the year with total fund balances in all your governmental funds by $31,267,118. So again, pretty solid financial year for the city, and kudos to those doing the budget and execution of the budget.
Yeah, if I could, I'll say this, and John certainly welcome to correct me, but I think one of the takeaways, when you hear the ups and downs of it all, the reassurance I'd like to give you is none of that was unexpected. None of that was revenue shortfalls, budget expenditure overruns, unanticipated. It was an intentional spend down of fund balance for identified.
Yeah, what we're seeing here is execution of the plans that have been put in place and the things that were planned on by the city. So kind of a planned decrease in planned activities. So nothing there, causes me any alarm or surprise knowing everything that you had going on. So all it actually, as far as balances go, for everything you're accomplishing, I would say you're doing quite well based on what I see in a lot of other cities. So good job.
We appreciate staff going into it and their departments and finance department, because that's where it all happens. And then those long budget meetings in the summer.
Well, the plan is important,
Yep.
and then sticking to the plan is also important. So
Absolutely.
congratulations on having a good plan and sticking to it. On page 30, you get kind of the same financial statement with the revenues expenditure changes relating to your proprietary funds, which are more business type activities of the city. And that is your sewer fund, the solid waste fund, and then there's an internal service fund that's kind of a carry forward relating to a health insurance thing. But on the sewer fund, you had total operating revenues of $6,840,444. That is up about $729,000 from last year. Operating expenses were up about $161,000 from last year at $3,615,522. Gave an operating income of $3,224,922. He had a net non-operating expense of $19,880. That probably would have been higher, I suppose, but for bond cost of issuance of $247,500, which won't be in there next year. So that will look a little different next year. Yeah, transfers out of 820,000 and a change in net position of a increase of $2,385,042 and had ending net position of $23,975,681. So overall, very strong on the sewer fund, or at least as I see it. The numbers look great. On the solid waste fund, I heard some discussion of that as I came in, but the total operating revenues were $888,094, and the expenses relating to that, which was startup cost and then operational cost, amounted to $1,066,909, which left a deficit of $178,815. And so the city input $272,061 to help kind of subsidize it, get it started. And that leaves an ending net position there of $93,246. And then on the internal service fund, there was not much happening there. Obviously, it changed by $972. So the balance went from $211,611 to $583. So overall, very good on the financials. Any questions on any of that? Hopefully I covered it in depth enough, but not too in depth.
So far.
So far, so good?
I have questions, but they are more budget questions I can ask later. So
Okay,
your audit makes sense. I appreciate it.
very good. And of course, I should have mentioned this earlier. If you do have questions later, feel free to get in touch with me. Call me, email me, whatever. I'm happy to answer any questions. It's not a problem. You can send them through Caroline or Mike, or just do it directly if you want to. I'm very agreeable. So anyway, whatever works for you is fine with me. On page 82 of the Bound report, which gets you way back to the back, there is one item of note, and I think it won't be here next year, to be honest. Kind of on the borderline a little bit. But we have to report on internal control matters relating to where you might have something to think about as you go through your daily operations. And in this case, you have a segregation of duties kind of shortfall. There's really too few people involved in the accounting process at points during the year. And I know that you've gone through some personnel transitions and that sort of thing, and that played into all of this. And then also kind of retooling how the department works has played into it a little bit as well. But I think I don't want to promise, but I think that for the 2026 audit, this should come out. But basically what it amounts to is whenever a person has too much access to too many phases of too many pieces of the purchasing or transaction cycle, you get a risk in your internal controls because somebody could basically do something potentially and it not be caught in a timely manner. And so you have a lot of mitigating controls out there, like reviewing the expenses and approving them in these meetings, budget process, comparing budget to actual, and those sorts of things that would trigger something if a number didn't come in where you would expect. But in reality, it's kind of at its underpinnings tied to a lack of segregation of duties. So this is a very common thing in municipalities. This is probably in around 75% of the cities that we work with. It's not uncommon at all. But basically what we're telling you here is do what you can with what you have. Be cognizant of the mitigating controls. If you're involved in that process, take it very seriously because it is something that offsets the lack of segregation of duties and helps protect the city. Now, with that all said, I think the changes that have been carried out over the last couple of years, personnel-wise, and if everything sticks and a couple other things work out, I think we can clear this one, and the city will be back in good shape on this front. So sometimes whenever you get a little cycle of way transition, the controls can take a little bit of a hit, and that's just a necessary part of getting the business of the city done. Because you can't wait till you have a person in place to pay a bill, you collect money and receipt it and that kind of thing. So it just is what it is. I don't know that it's anything to get too alarmed about, but we have to report on it because of the Yellow Book standards. And so now I'm reporting on it and I've done my duty. So there you go.
Mike, do you want to make a comment to this?
Over my career, it's been very common to, the administrative services department approach was intended to kind of address that. So Jessica is holding down a number of positions, but when Kristen was here, we kind of broke it out and created that level of management to try to address this concern.
And is it really just more oversight on the admin side? Is it more finance staff to what exactly is
breakup of how transactions happen, whether money's coming in or money's going out? And so who initiates AP, who actually writes the check, who signs the check, who's
Balances the account.
balancing the account?
And those are all different roles, different
Really
people.
all need to be different roles.
Gotcha.
Or at least reviewed by different roles so that there's overlap. Most cities try and accomplish it not by having an individual for each step, but rather having people from other steps review back across on steps that they wouldn't be involved in. And that's kind of the case here. So I think it will work out. So we'll see. Time will tell. Any questions on that? So, very good. We're moving right along. So you have two letters inside the back cover of your report, and this will go really fast. Nobody here in the room works for the GASB, right? Okay, very good. Okay, for those that don't know, the GASB is the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. They're the standard setters for how these financials come to be. And they are, because they work for governments, they're just better than the FASB folks. And that's just the way it is. Now, if you know regular accounting, that's FASB. The GASB is governmental accounting. And they are, well, they have a different set of aims than a for-profit enterprise, because a lot of what a municipality or a government will do is based on the concept of allocation of resources. Because you have a finite amount of resources. You can't necessarily go out and raise money. You can't increase the price on this or that, other than your utilities, to actually fund the operations of the city. So the aims of the accounting and the reporting that goes with it are different than what you would have in a business. And so they've had to kind of walk that line to keep bankers and people that buy bonds happy with what they see in financial statements, when those people are used to looking at FASB financial statements, which is why you get a statement of net position and the statement of activities. That flows in from trying to walk that line. But when I started in this many years ago, now I don't have quite the tenure of the one that was up here earlier, but um, 26 years of doing this does give me a little bit of gray hair. And, so, you know, when I started in this profession, I think we were on GASB 26, maybe something like that. We're on 103.
Oh, gosh.
So a lot has happened to me in my career, I guess, thanks to the GASB. But overall, I think these financial statements are more informative for the people that are the stakeholders. And so I hope that's the case. I know they've become a lot more work over the last 26 years. But this particular thing that's talked about here is a new accounting pronouncement for GASB Statement 103, financial reporting model improvements. And basically what it does is it improves everything. Not really. There's a section of your bound booklet, if you want to look at it later, it's kind of a summary. It's unaudited, but it's taken directly from the audited numbers. And it's prepared by management of the city, the management's discussion and analysis. And that's going to be affected by this standard quite a bit in that there's a lot more of the why things changed that's going to be required under this standard. So that'll be a little bit more of a time-intensive endeavor to fill out. And I'm sure that the city is ready to tackle that when that time comes. Also, a big change is that right now, when you look at your budget to actuals on your governmental financial statements, they're kind of in the back, and it shows you the original budget, the final budget, the actual, and a variance column. Well, they're going to add a variance column between the original and the final budget. That goes as part of this standard. And then on the notes to the budget statements, basically there will be more of the why the budget's changed. So that note's going to get quite a bit more lengthy. And those are the two big parts of this that impact the city. The rest of it just falls to us as the people who actually prepare financial statements. We do prepare the financial statements on behalf of the city, and then we submit them back for review and acceptance. And it's considered a non-audit service, and we move on with life. So that's the process, but that's what's coming in 2026 year end. You're going to see next. The next item on the list is cybersecurity and internal controls. This has been on here for a long time, probably, and it will continue to be because, well, cyber criminals are crafty, and no matter how much you do, they will be ahead of the law-abiding folks. And so you're always reacting to whatever they come up with as a scheme or a scam. And we've noticed too that old-fashioned scams have come back, like check washing, that kind of thing. Seen several instances of that in the last year. And some of them for big dollars. One person was very enterprising in that they received a check that was for a gas payment. They cleaned it up and then they copied it and used it like 15 times. And they literally signed it mayor of that city. And instead of their mayor's actual name. So that was cool. And the bank sent it through. That's the scary part.
Yeah, that is scary.
You just kind of have to keep your head on a swivel these days, I'm afraid. But I guess what I'm saying is things happen. And, you know, on the cyber front, it's on the forefront and where you can really get nailed the most. But it's all out there still. So be careful. With that, that's what I have for the evening. Any questions?
Did you do any auditing of the cybersecurity side, or is that just a
That is-
recommendation?
That's a recommendation from an accountant.
Gotcha.
I can see a problem and say, that's a problem. The reason why we bring it up is that we've had a lot of instances of phishing campaigns ensnaring our clients, particularly on large construction projects and where there's a lot of electronic communication. And just getting someone to change an ACH number, it can, you know, it looks so real. And if you don't take the steps necessary to vet that and really be careful about changing those sorts of things, wire transfers at the end of the day, millions of dollars just in my circle of what I know about. And so I do take it very seriously, but I am decidedly not a tech person, but I know they exist. And, you know, there's insurances and things that you can do, but all of that and training are a very important part of just doing business in this particular age. So.
Any other questions for John? Nope. Sounds good, looks good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thanks,
and
John.
Have a splendid rest of your night. And thanks again for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your work.
I have to say that's a first for me in my career.
Nah, that's fantastic. I've never seen that either, so. Item 7.1, an ordinance amending section 11-38 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Warrensburg regarding solid waste services, presented by Barbara Carroll, AICP, Director of Community Development.
Well, we continue to learn as we go on our solid waste ordinances and policies. So before you tonight to amend section 11-38, which is our solid waste billing section. And a couple items have come up in the last, I think the last time I was here was August. So since last August, we've had a few more instances come up that we felt it would be appropriate to include in the policy so that everybody who says, I want to read that, give me a copy of that, that we would be able to easily do that. So first being with new construction of new residential service units, and that's a fancy way of saying a house, a duplex, a unit in a triplex, unit in a fourplex. When we're building new construction of those types of construction, they're under a building permit, and that building permit requires them to have a dumpster on site for construction waste to go into the dumpster. At some point in the construction project, they typically will be ready for electric service, and they want to turn on electric service so that they can have power for their equipment, construction equipment. And at that point, when they turn on power, that triggers occupied in our solid waste ordinances and requires them to have trash service for $31 a month. And at that point, there is no one living there. They're not allowed legally to have anyone live there because they don't have a temporary certificate of occupancy or a certificate of occupancy. And they're paying trash in two different ways. And so the first piece of the ordinance you have before you this evening would add a section O to 11-38 and state that even if power is, or water or sewer is turned on and supplied to the service unit, if a CO or a TCO has not been issued, it will not be deemed occupied. So the dumpster will stay on site till that permit wraps. When they get their CO, our software will flag our solid waste staff to deliver carts and add the service to their utility bill. And at that point, they would start getting billed the $31 a month. So that had come to our attention and from one of our builders, and in talking through that with them, we felt that was a very reasonable piece to clarify and get added to our ordinances. Second item that has come up is, I don't know if you live on an alley, you know this, but if you don't live on a lot that has alley service, you might not realize this. All of our alley lots are serviced. If you have alley pickup, you are serviced on Friday. You may live in the Thursday side of town. You may live on the Wednesday part of town. You could live on the Tuesday part of town. If your service is in the rear of your lot on an alley, you are a Friday pickup. That truck comes and runs all alleys on Fridays because it's typically a smaller unit. They service the downtown area and the sidewalk receptacles at the same time. So those are Friday pickups. There is the potential, we now have seen, where a customer will put their carts on the front side on the regular route day for that neighborhood and put it on the alley side on Friday for an alley pickup. And then they're getting picked up twice a week for the same low price of $31. So this section is being added to clarify that you can have one service location on your lot. And we have worked through whether it would be alley or the front side with, particularly in March and April of last year, as we were rolling out the service. Cole had a lot of conversations individually with people. Did they want to be an alley? Did they want to be the front? You know, we worked with them on those, but this section would state you have to pick one or the other and stick with it. So and if you really need two locations on your lot, then you're going to pay for both. And we would put you in as 2 dwelling units and you would get a bill for $62 a month. So that is the proposed section P, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have one question on once they get a certificate of occupancy, whether it's temporary or just a regular. If there's no one actually occupying and creating trash and recyclables,
They, at that point, we would consider them, because they'll have full services. They'll have their electric, they'll have their water, they'll have their sewer, just like other, you know, we have lots of units that may not be rented for the month, but they still are paying all their services and are being billed the $31. So that would be treated the same as everyone else at that point. Even if somebody hasn't moved in yet, if it has all 3 services and it's been given a CO, then it's gonna be billed.
so if it's I guess I'm thinking it's a new dwelling, a new home, and it hasn't sold, so, and there's no one there.
They,
Wouldn't the contractor shut the services, some of the services off?
I mean, if they shut the services off, that would stop trash. But if they don't shut the services off, then it
And it would be,
would
okay,
stay
and it
on.
would be the owner, which would be probably the builder that would be paying that. Okay, all right, thank you.
I have a related question. Were there any refunds given to the developers that paid twice for trash?
I did do a credit on one account for 3 months. Yes.
Thank you. And then I assume that Constable, well, it's a silly question. Constable has a map of all of the alley locations, and so that has been resolved as far as people can choose to have their trash in the front or in the alley. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think this ordinance will cause a change in the route.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a lot of houses that are gonna flip from one to the other because of this.
Okay.
The situation that brought it forth had added a new cart in March, and that cart was being placed separate from the original set of carts.
Gotcha. That's it. Thank you.
So why are we not just saying everyone that has an alley is picked up on the alley just for beautification and then also efficiency's sake on Constable's side?
There can be grade elevation changes as well. Like I'm thinking of West Colton or West Market. They have alleys in the rear, but a lot of them are serviced in the front. And so if we're already servicing the neighbors in the front, we'd rather bring that truck just down the front of the block. But there are some of those where the sidewalk may be here, but there's a retaining wall and there's dirt. You know, the yard is 4 or 5 feet taller. You're not gonna bring your cart to the front on that lot. So even if your neighbors were getting serviced in the front because they don't have the elevation change on their end of the block, if I'm gonna haul it out the front door and then I'm gonna drop 5 feet to the sidewalk, no, we're gonna service you in the alley. So those are the kinds of things Cole had to go case by case and look at, where does it make sense to service them? Both for the truck as well as for the convenience of the citizen.
Makes sense. Sounds like we just didn't really build up our alleyways for that type of stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, not all of our alleyways You have a lot of variety in alleys, in
Mhm.
surface, in width, in
Road condition, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
condition of the surface,
Yeah.
overhead lines, how high, how tall they are, can trucks get under them? There's a lot of variables in the alley.
Okay, thank you.
Thank Barbara. Thank you. No, no.
Yep,
Nope.
thank you.
All right. Appreciate
To
it.
move to second reading by title only.
Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance amending section 11-38 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri regarding solid waste services. This is for adoption or rejection. Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.2, an ordinance authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute an agreement with Key Equipment and Supply Company for the purchase of a EnviroSite HD Rover X system. Wow. And ProMaster van build out in the city of Warrensburg, Missouri, presented by Phil Adlitz, Director of Public Works.
Hey, Mayor, City Council members. So come here this evening asking for you guys to approve the city manager to spend some money and get us a new sewer camera. All right, the current sewer camera, I know if you've been on the climb tours, you probably got to see the old sewer camera. When it was brand new, it was neat. Worked well, but now that it's almost 20 or a little over 20 years old, it's not up to standards anymore. It fails us. We have hard time getting parts for it. Terry was very proud. He found 2 old parts and bought them, and he's like, "Ah," but it's just not what we need, what will work for the maintenance, the serviceability of the lines in the ground. The new camera, if we're able to go with this one, is able to be traced underground with the equipment we have. It'll help us locate things easier, service the lines, maintain them, and it'll be just a whole lot better for our operators to use and make sure that we have a good product underground. So the cost is $176,000 or $176,167.65. In the budget that you all approved, there was $275,750. That did include a new vehicle, but since we went with the enterprise fleet management, we are leasing that vehicle, the ProMaster van, and we just have to build it out so that the equipment will operate out of there, gives a good spot. So, question?
I had a question regarding the, I'm assuming that the camera is for the sewer mains. And it would be too big to go down the service.
Yeah, it will
lines?
not go down laterals. It is going to be too large to go down laterals. The laterals are usually 4-inch to 6-inch, depending on what they're coming out of, commercial, residential. Mike, you have something there?
Storm sewer, you can also do.
It can do storm sewer, especially this one, because we're requesting this one where it will elevate the head. So a lot of your storm sewers have water sitting in them. This unit will be waterproof and elevate the head so that we can go down a larger pipe of 18, 24, 36 and help us find those rusted areas. So.
Okay, the other question I had, and I think I answered it myself, but it'll go 1,000 feet, but it talks about, it's hooked to something, right?
Yes, so
And-
there's a
but-
1,000-foot of cable.
So you can,
That
if
is
it
what it's got.
stops, you can pull it back,
Yes.
but it's Wi-Fi, so what is it sending on Wi-Fi if it's on this cable?
That's a very good question. I did not ask the salesperson.
Yeah, I'm assuming, so Phil mentioned the ability to trace it, so you can run it down the line, then you can locate it from above ground to figure out exactly where the sewer line is in the field. Someone's, I don't know if that's Wi-Fi, but that's a
Wi-Fi.
It said
non-wireless
Wi-Fi.
communication.
So I'm
I'm-
trying to figure out why it had Wi-Fi
More than
and
likely,
cable.
that's the computer component of it that sits in the vehicle so that you can, attach to it with your phone, with the tablet, and communicate that way. So you can transfer the files, I'm assuming or guessing, because I did not ask the salesperson and that was.
Close enough. Thank you.
You're welcome.
On the van, are you all going to be building that out in-house or is that getting sent back to enterprise?
This will be a all-in-one service where they provide the camera, they build out the ProMaster van, they put the stuff in there.
Oh, so Key is doing all
That's
this
the one that's going to do that.
and that's what's included here in the quote.
That's
Okay.
included in that price, build out of the van and then all the components and accessories that we will need. Once we get the van back with the camera, it'll be ready to go. And
And will it fit into the
Yes.
garage?
yes, this
Yeah.
van is small.
Yeah.
Compared to the jet truck, this is very small.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I didn't see a limit on it, but it does say lifetime training. Are we planning on taking advantage of that? That seems
Yes,
like
we
a
will
pretty,
take- we will
pretty
take
good deal.
advantage of that if we get, once they get trained up and as we get new operators, we will send them there to learn how to operate. Because this is going to be very expensive and we will have this camera for probably, I'd say at least 15 years, maybe a little less, but
So is it lifetime training as long as it's under warranty then?
I didn't ask the person that either. We'll get some clarification on it, but
Do you know what the warranty is?
the warranty on the unit itself.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be, well, all non-wearable components, so your gears, your tires, your stuff like that, some of your cables. So most of the important parts will be under warranty. We'd have to find out 100%.
totally.
sure.
Yeah.
This was a highly recommended unit. We did do some searching and this is what we feel is going to give us the best options and results. So,
Excellent.
Thank
Anything
you.
else? Thank you, Phil.
Motion
guys.
to move to second reading by title only.
Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute an agreement with Key Equipment and Supply Company for the purchase of an EnviroSight HD Rover X system and ProMaster van build-out in the city of Warrensburg, Missouri. This is for adoption or rejection. Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ready?
Yeah. Thank
you. Item 7.3. An ordinance partially exempting the city of Warrensburg, Missouri from the provisions of section 311.2026 revised statute of Missouri regarding hours for liquor licenses to sell, serve, and allow the consumption of alcoholic beverages during the 2026 FIFA World Cup tournament presented by Michael D. Scraggs, city manager.
Can I ask one question before we start? Because this one relates to the next one. And it has to do with staffing. So my question would be to Chief Munsterman. If we approve both of these, the first one where you have 2 additional officers working each day because of the extended liquor sale hours. The second one that we'll be looking at is the mutual aid agreement where you have 9 officers that are interested in going and working the World Cup. Do you reasonably think that if we approve both of these, that it would be reasonable for you to be able to staff not only the 2 additional ones for local, but also the other ones that want to have that opportunity to go to the World Cup and work it?
So to answer your question, the 2 officers would be say you only have 2 bars open, take advantage of it. Back when we used to have bar closing, we used to have 4 to 6 officers down there. This gives you an idea of if you have 2 bars that take advantage of this and stay open for 23 of the 24 hours of the day, then I'm projecting, because it's not really known, right? If they stay open 23, then minimum, we're gonna be there from probably 11 at night till whenever they close. So I gave you a projection of 8 hours with Mr. Scragg regarding to what that would cost. So for the 2, it's around $3,535.84 if at their time and a half rate. That's at our lowest officers rate. Okay, that would be for 2 officers at a time, 1767 for 1 officer. So with that being said, if you approve this and then approve the other, I took it to our officers before I even brought it to you to see if they're even interested in doing this. 9 of them said they were interested. It is voluntary. It would be on their days off. It is growth and working with other agencies, interoperational, learn how to operate with them, and it's good growth and experience for them. They're interested in that. Would they be interested in this? I'm gonna have to pull that back. And I will probably not be allowing them to go if we have many bars, say opt in and want to do this, right? Because the city of Warrensburg's first. So
That
I'll
helps,
have to evaluate it all
Right.
as we go through it, because it's all unknown at this point.
Right. But that helps as we go through these, at least we kind of have an idea of.
Right, great. Boiling it down, covering our shifts would take priority, and then the ability for the officers to sign up and do mutual aid in Kansas City would be dependent on our schedule getting filled and then them doing that on their off time.
Okay. Thank you.
So with respect to the first item and the ordinance that's before you, this picks up where you left off at your last meeting in your conversation. And I can go into the background of all that in greater detail if you'd like, but on the 13th, it was intentional that was just public comment, public hearing, opportunity for you to get public feedback and then provide city staff with an input on what you'd like to be brought to you today for your consideration. There wasn't a lot of consensus at that point. So what we said was we'll bring you a draft and try to work with you to allow you to deliberate, provide feedback, and then amend that draft as needed to end up with the final product that you'd like. So City Legal Counsel Adam Summer was very helpful in drafting this. We started with Lee Summit as a readily available example of an ordinance that they had opted into modified hours. So if you go to the second page of the ordinance, that begins with kind of your menu of choices. One section entitled for Kansas City match days during June and July 2026 just provides extended hours for the days of the actual matches in Kansas City. And so it lists each one of those days. And then it identifies a time, and you could amend those times as well. So it lists 6 a.m. to 3 a.m. in all of the instances across the ordinance. If you as a group choose a different set of hours, we need to amend those accordingly. The next set is for match days and fan fest days during the months of June and July. And so there are, and I may have to call on Marcy Barnhart to help me here, but in addition to the match days in Kansas City, there will be fan fest days. I believe those correspond to match days in other locations, but fan fest will not be going on in Kansas City every single day of that duration of June and July. It'll just be on select dates. So that second set is a combination of the match days in Kansas City and the Fan Fest days in Kansas City. The third set is for the entire date range for FIFA World Cup in the United States in 2026. So it's commencing June 11th and ending July 19th. And as it's worded currently, then it authorizes operation from 6 a.m. to 3 a.m., all of those dates. And then the other option, which isn't exactly modified extended hours, but if you want to retain what we currently have on the books, it says for the retention of existing hours of sale, opting out of the statutory extension, and that just returns it to 6 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. Each of the days of that event. And it really just kind of ratifies your intent, if that's what you ultimately decide, your intent to leave the operating hours as they currently exist. So as a reminder, the state statute authorizes operation from 6 a.m. to 5 a.m. I'm sorry, it authorizes 24-hour operation and 23-hour sales. So 6 a.m. one day to 5 a.m. the next day, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. being the only downtime. The timeframes in this ordinance currently are 6 a.m. to 3 a.m., mirroring what Lee Summit chose to do, but that is certainly up to you as a council to decide.
Just wanted to clarify, real quick. You're saying that the current hours are 6 a.m. to 1:30. I thought last meeting we said closer to 10 or 11 o'clock though. So it is 6 a.m. is what the current time is.
Yes, in my review of our ordinance, that's the current language.
Okay, just want to make sure I understood correctly.
And as I was reporting to you, I do see that first section has a typo in it. So it says for June 16th and it
Yeah,
says
saw that.
from June
Thank you.
12th, when that should be June 16th.
Yeah.
But if you want to, I'd be happy to answer any questions. If you as a council want to deliberate at the point that you feel like you're reaching some consensus, staff can help you identify what the final wording of the ordinance needs to be. And I guess one last thing to add, I've had no additional feedback since the meeting on the 13th from operators nor the public that I'm aware of.
And our hotels are still not full.
Colin Martin, do you want to?
Correct. Yes, I did speak to our hotels and that is absolutely correct. I did have an opportunity to speak to a short-term rental owner and they have a family member. They have 5 properties and they said that they had raised their rates, hearing the demand, supply and demand, and they did not have any takers. So they lowered their rates and they were able to secure reservations for the game dates, weddings. So they do not have anyone staying with them for the event, nor do their family member they both have short-term rentals. That is the perspective from 2 property owners. What's to come closer to time, I don't know.
If we were to choose to option where we open at 6 a.m., but we close at 3 a.m., that gives them extra time. We're being business friendly for all the days, whether the whole period of time, June 11th through July 19th. If we found after we put that in place that no one is partaking of these additional hours, everybody's still going home at 1 or 1:30 or 2 o'clock, can we change our mind and do away with it so we don't have to staff additional officers to cover something that's not happening?
So
Because we don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna hazard my guess and then Adam can correct me. I think technically you could, with sufficient notice, sufficient action, public notice, all of that. So from a technical standpoint, staff could assist you in amending that ordinance. From a practical standpoint, I think you always run the risk of businesses having made preparations or made some plans that you're
That
kind
we
of
weren't
catching them
aware
by
of.
surprise, but I definitely want to.
Yeah, certainly we could do that. My concern is actually even simpler than that, which is just the literal time frame that this is all happening within. By the time that conversation would happen and it would come back and we would have a meeting, outside of calling a special meeting, the odds that it would be timely and useful are pretty low. This is kind of one of those, there's a little bit of round appeal here, kind of a set it and forget it, make your decision and and let it ride, because it's only gonna be about a month that's happening, and right in the middle of that is the Fourth of July. So your ability to get a meeting together might be difficult as well, so that would be my just basic practice. We absolutely could change it. It's not a permanent ordinance, it's part of the wording is that it's not permanent, so.
Right.
Question that kind of feeds into that. Last time we kind of talked about notice and things like that. I see here in section 3, we would require some sort of notice of the bar owners. Is that enforceable? I mean, is that something that we can do?
Yeah, so I went that direction. The Lee Summit version, I won't, I'm not gonna use the word that's in my head, but they were, I think it was $500 for a temporary license or something like that. I heard a lot of business friendly approach. That didn't sound very business friendly. So I went with this written notice to the city manager and the chief of police so that we have this written intent so that we can identify where we need, police chief can, staff appropriately. It's definitely something that we can enforce because it is an ordinance. If they don't meet that requirement, we can actually ticket them for a violation. So, and they could be shut down if they haven't provided the written notice and it's 1:31 a.m. They could be shut down at that point in time.
But on the flip side, if they want to cover their bets and on June 5th, say, my intent is to do all the days and
Yep.
then change, we may have staffed up and find out they've chosen to contract what they're doing.
Yeah, that's kind of a better safe than sorry, but
I did hear from another bar owner. Andrea Cook is a neighbor of mine, and I happened to see her when she was out taking care of her dogs and I was taking care of mine. And she did say that she felt like generally, they might stay open a little later, but personally, she felt like it wasn't a great idea to extend the hours later as a bar owner. So there's that piece of information. And I still just would have repeat that we heard from 2 of 31 bar owners. The business communities who I care deeply about is not asking for this. There's data about increasing alcohol sale hours, increasing harms to people. The most recent and applicable study was actually during COVID in Boston, and there was a significant decrease in harms, especially violent crime, when the bars closed earlier because of COVID. There's a good deal of research that says you make alcohol more available, later hours in the night, people's executive functioning, which is already impaired, becomes more and more impaired. And you will see more harms. You will see more drunk driving, which is one of the things that in the safety action plan, which we'll talk about later, was very important to people, that we address drunk driving in this community. And so to me, it's a solution looking for a problem. There's no real strong evidence that the community is calling for us to do something about this.
and to be clear, the state has laid this at our feet by passing a statute that says that they get to be open. We have to decide if they don't get to be open. So from that standpoint, the city certainly has the option to, we could bring back a different ordinance that says that we're not doing it at all, that we're gonna honor the hours that they are standard, and we're not gonna opt in at all, we're gonna completely opt out. If you do nothing, then it's just up to the businesses at that point, if they're gonna be open or not, and we have no mechanism of control, and we have no way to have something in place that gives us something to enforce.
And we put, PD in a really tight spot, trying to figure out, what there is to deal with, so.
And it would be one thing if the hotels were full,
Yeah.
if we had the, potential client.
If we were really gonna be welcoming folks from across the country, across the globe, which would be wonderful. But it doesn't look like it.
So please go ahead, Eddie.
No.
I hope so. We still hope so. We hope we
Yeah,
welcome
we hope
people
so.
from all over the
We
world.
would
Year round.
love to have.
Come July 20th. I still hope we're still welcoming people from all over the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did try to put in the council letter, my understanding of the rationale, because my first reaction just individually was we were trying to accommodate game times, but the game times are during normal operating hours. So the best explanation I've heard is it's trying to accommodate cultures
Right.
that are visiting. And then that becomes the question of how many people are visiting and.
But typically when you travel, one of the first things you do is you acclimate yourself to the time where you've landed quickly. And then, so you're.
Yeah,
acclimated.
so, and again, Marcy, I'm hearing this from Marcy, who heard it from others, but my understanding is even acclimating, there are certain cultures that their nightlife is just getting started when our bars are closing.
The cultural norm is when our normal bedtime, that's when they're after a game, they go to a pub, they have a beverage or two. And that's what the state of Missouri, when you put your application in for events such as this, you have to attend events, and it's on the application that you've attended events. So when the lieutenant governor at the time, Governor Kehoe, and Visit KC and the KC Sports Commission and all and St. Louis as well, when they went together and they went for 8 years ago and they saw the different events, they went to the different countries and they saw individuals going to the establishments, and that's what they were doing at 2, 3, those. And so they saw it as that's the cultural norms for some of these countries. Also, it's a revenue generator.
And I'll add, that's looking at big cities where the venues were and not outlying areas like us. We're not there. I think for the potential costs of the city and disruption of trying to figure out, do we do this, do that? I would say we opt out of the state.
At the risk of sounding completely cynical, I do note that the only thing that's included in this is liquor sales.
It's the what?
And
It's only
Liquor sales.
liquor sales. It's well known that since legalization of marijuana products in the state of Missouri, that liquor sales in general are lower. Most alcohol sales are lower in states that legalize. This is not, there's nothing else that's been included in this special time frame other than alcohol sales. And that it's just, again, at the risk of sounding incredibly cynical, I can't help but notice those kinds of things. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're totally fine. And I did want to, that's a great point to make. And the fact that these businesses are struggling right now, just across the board. I did talk with Jay Meldrum over at Heroes. He did not, I know that he didn't put in a survey, but he was not sure on whether he would be open or not. He was going to make that call a little closer to time. His Airbnb above Heroes, though, is booked the entire time during the World Cup from people outside the state. So he does know that there are going to be people. He's just deciding whether or not he's going to staff during that time. I also had a chance to talk with Leo Costas over at Players, the owner over there, and same sentiment. Not sure if I'm going to be open, but if my customers want me to be open, I'll figure out a way to make it happen. Yes, there could be some cost to the city in terms of PD, but there's also opportunity for sales tax revenue to be coming in. I'd be more in favor of a modified. I don't think we need to be open 24 hours, but a modified to 3 a.m. I think would be beneficial, and it would be welcoming to other cultures coming to this area whenever there are communities that are taking this up right now and saying that they're going to close regular times. We can stand out from the rest of the metro and say, no, we are going to welcome everyone here, no matter where you're coming from, and you're welcome to spend your dollars here and increase our sales tax revenue.
So they would be selling alcohol, but probably food and other things to get people to come there. The Netherlands, aren't they playing in Kansas City? They're big party people. Aren't they the ones that are all dressed in orange?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, I
the
apologize.
Netherlands.
I don't know that, but they do play on June 25th. The Netherlands plays on June 25th. They could possibly be playing later on July 3rd or July 11th. I don't know.
I just have misgivings about both, and I'd rather wait until the very last minute and know that the hotels are full and we've got really and truly have people in the area. How cold, what is today? The last of April. Oh, geez.
So it's 27.
Mhm.
That's what you're.
So we have a month and a half at the most.
Yeah, I went to the World Cup in Orlando. I lived down there, 25 years, and if the rooms aren't booked up now, they're just gonna be for local visitors. Again, I prefer we just opt out. We know what the rules are. I don't see, we're gonna make the sales tax revenue off of a handful of sales at 3 o'clock in the morning. I just don't see it in Warrensburg in the summer. College kids are gone. If they're gonna be out on the streets, they're gonna go up to Lee's Summit, or they'll go to, Power and Light District or something like that. I just don't see it's anything for Warrensburg. Yeah.
I hope if they are partnering up there, they stay up there and don't drive.
We'd love for them to come down here during the day and visit
Back when
Warrensburg,
they're
see the sites, but I don't see us being open in the middle of the night here for
Yeah.
cost and, his dad always said nothing good happens after midnight anyway, right? We all-
I said the same thing.
Yeah, my dad said the same thing.
Thrilled. It's official.
There are good things that happen after midnight. No,
Sometimes.
not with alcohol. Yeah, I concur with Bruce. I don't see the benefit that the amount of sales that it would take to generate the tax revenue, I just don't think is there.
To pay for extra officers and, yeah.
I tend to agree with you, Eddie. Is that one of our options?
It is, so.
Which option is
the-
that?
If you
Left
look
one.
at section 2. The lead-in language is the city hereby adopts the following operating and sales hours for sale of alcoholic beverages.
So,
And operating hours for authorized holders of a liquor license for on-premises sale by the drink during the FIFA World Cup tournament as follows. And then you
Okay.
would skip all the way to the bottom, and it would say 6 a.m. each day to 1:30 a.m. the following day.
so it's not italicized and underlined like the other two sections, but it is the very last option for the retention of existing hours of sale.
Yeah,
Is
you
this
can
an
literally amend by deleting
It's an
all of the
ordinance.
language.
We
After
need
the
to go to
colon
second
until that
reading.
portion.
It will be an ordinance, yes. So
Oh,
where's our?
so wait a minute. So we don't wanna move for we don't wanna move second reading of this.
Well,
ordinance.
this has 4 different scenarios in it, so you can pick one.
It
So
would be-
as Adam was saying, I think you would want to make a motion to amend the ordinance by striking everything after the colon in section 2 to the statement that says 6 a.m. each day to 1:30 a.m. the
Strike
following
everything.
day.
After that,
After section 2.
down
Mhm.
to the word the following day.
Okay.
Or
Move
Oh,
to second
Or the
read.
retention.
For the retention of existing hours.
Everything from the colon to the word.
Right.
The phrase for them.
Okay. Move-
If you're going to,
Make a motion to move to second reading.
you need to amend first.
Oh, I have to
Amend
amend.
first.
Sorry.
Amend.
I move to amend the ordinance
To remove everything.
to remove everything
There.
following the colon in section 2
Through
through
that word.
following day period, so that we are approving for the retention of existing hours of sale, opting out of the statutory extension of hours 6 opting out of the and maintaining the 6 a.m. each day to 1:30 a.m. the following day. Did that make sense?
Okay,
Adam? Did we get it?
So that's two.
I second.
As long as the clerk.
Well, we don't need
Oh,
it.
Let's give.
Okay, so let's move to second reading. Okay,
That was moved.
That was.
to amend. Okay,
So we, this is
do
only.
you want me to read that again? Or no, just go ahead and call the vote to go to second reading and then I'll read it.
You need to vote on the amendment.
We need to vote on the amendment.
Okay.
And then we do the move for second.
Yes, as amended.
As amended.
Did you, did I hear you second
I
the
second that
amendment?
motion, that long motion.
Oh,
Yes, move to amend.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and call.
Have more discussion on that if you want, or you can call it straight to the question.
I'm still in favor of doing modified hours over saying we're opted out completely. I just, from a business perspective, we need to be business friendly, so.
I'm
That's where
looking
I
at
am.
saving the money for the city too, and putting us at risk, having people at 3 o'clock in the morning downtown. When we haven't had any demand, I mean, we haven't had anybody really interested to just kind of, well, we'll see, that kind of thing, but.
And we each will vote our conscience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Any other discussion on that? No?
okay. Motion to amend. Ridenhour,
No,
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Motion carried 4-1.
So now you have an amended ordinance for
Yeah.
your consideration.
Motion to move the amended ordinance to second reading. Wait a minute.
Mhm.
Motion to move the amended ordinance to second reading by title only.
Okay. Ridenhour,
no,
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
This is for adoption or rejection. An ordinance partially exempting the city of Warrensburg, Missouri from the provisions of section 311.2026 RISMO, Revised Standards of Missouri, regarding hours for liquor licensees to sell, serve, and allow the consumption of alcoholic beverages during the 2026 FIFA World Cup tournament. Striking.
I apologize. That last motion would have failed, correct? Since there was one no vote on the move to second reading by title.
Oh,
No.
That would be
That-
to the next meeting.
that is true. It would.
Because, yeah.
That's right. I'm so sorry.
That's the beauty. So
That is true. So it's automatically tabled till next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max.
But I'm not
So the motion
questioning
to
that.
amend will,
right, but the actual title sounds as if we're.
Yeah, well, that was a function of having to try to give you every option in one draft.
That was gonna be my suggestion is that we maybe bring competing versions that are clean. One that
two
adopts
separate-
extended hours, one that completely opts out. That may be the cleanest way to do it. Cause this was, as Mike and I were talking about, this was more about, here's all of what it could look like.
Right.
So I think the majority of you have indicated what you would like to act on. So I think trying to follow that lead, what we could do is bring you an ordinance that reflects that for action. Although, you know, if we're on second reading, is that an acceptable change to the title or?
I would do nothing with this ordinance. I would just provide new ordinances.
Two new ordinances, one where we opt out of the state, and the second one that
But presumably
we
then,
have,
then
we've
on
been,
the, let me look at the calendar. On May 11th, that would come forward. And if everything holds, you wouldn't have it would not be unanimous to go to second reading. So then you're looking at May 26th for that second reading.
You can alternatively simply keep the heading the way it is here. I agree that it could convey some type of intent. I also think the intent is, what are the hours that we are maintaining and
Or we could amend the title tonight.
I think the title, the way it is,
I think it means nothing. I think it's wildly ambiguous.
it's extremely confusing. I
Yeah.
think if we have two competing opinions, so if we have one that's a clean title for one way and another clean
And not that in a
ordinance,
consumption.
that's right.
Yeah.
Then we know what we're doing and there's no ambiguity when someone reads the minutes later on.
Right, so
That can be a
in an effort to facilitate you being able to take final action at your next meeting rather than 2 meetings from now, I think you could, maybe it's too late, but you could make a second motion to amend that ordinance, to amend the title to say an ordinance exempting, strike partially, an ordinance exempting the city of Warrensburg from the provisions. And now you have a clean ordinance reflecting what the majority of you want. You just can't take it to second reading tonight.
Right? And
That's true. We're still inside of the ordinance right now.
we're still in the ordinance. And so then on May 11th, when we come back, we would have
I can still provide the second one for review and it gives you all something to talk about. And
okay. All right, so we need to motion to amend the title. Show me the title.
So there was the,
are you trying to make a motion to amend the title to
Yes, would you
remove
give
the
me the
word partially?
Right.
An ordinance exempting the city of Warrensburg, Missouri from the provisions of section 311.2026 RSMO regarding hours for liquor licensees to sell, serve, and allow the consumption of alcoholic beverages during the 2026 FIFA World Cup tournament.
You'd like to amend the title to what you just read, correct?
And yes, I just amended that.
Motion to amend to remove the word partially.
Yes, motion to amend the word partially.
And then
So-
this will be
And
brought,
then everything else stays the same.
this
So this
will
would
be
need its own.
brought back for a second.
Well, first you need to vote on that amendment.
Mhm.
First, we vote on the amendment.
So I apologize. I just want to make sure I understand what we're voting on here. So we're voting, so where we are at right this second is we had a first reading of as is. And we said that we're saying that we are going to go straight back to regular hours to 1:30. What we are doing right now is we are amending this title of what has already been read for our next meeting. And then we will have a first and second reading of a separate ordinance for a partial exemption. Is that correct?
You will have a partial exemption that can be done as a first and second, depending on those, obviously, as dealt with tonight.
Okay, so we are amending what has already been read the first time. So it'll be ready for a second reading next meeting. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah, it'll be on for second.
Yes, this will be on for second reading, because this is, yeah.
Thank you.
Naturally, your amendments would always come in between the two, so that,
We have a
So
motion
now
on the
we-
floor.
So I made the motion to amend. So it needs a second. Right?
Motion to,
yeah.
amend.
Say second.
Second, thank you very much.
Okay,
So
no more
that's-
discussion?
So that's all we're doing is amending.
amending the
this.
title.
We're
Amending
not
the title.
approving anything other than amending this title.
Mhm.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Next.
Okay. You ready?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you very much. My Item 7.4, an ordinance authorizing the city of Warrensburg, Missouri to approve this mutual aid agreement with the Kansas City Police Department during the 2026 FIFA World Cup matches. My French is not that good. Federation World Cup matches scheduled to occur in Kansas City, Missouri from June through July of 2026, presented by Andy Munsterman, Police Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Reason I'm bringing you this forward is Chief of Police Stacy Graves with Kansas City, Missouri, sent out letters for mutual aid agreement approximately 2 months ago, maybe longer than that. I took it to our staff, seeing if anyone was even interested. This was for surrounding agencies because FIFA World Cup's coming to their area, causing this issue, and they're wanting to make sure they're staffed up for it. And you don't staff for an event like that without asking surrounding agencies. So with that being said, I brought this forward to you to see if we can get this approved. So we will at least have the mutual aid agreement in place with them. And then if our staffing allows, it gives our officers the opportunity to go assist them. I stand for any questions if you have any. That's where I'm at.
I
Yes,
have
yeah.
some questions. Reading through the documents. The warrants, whoever goes up there, the officers that go up there would keep track of their hours. Their hours would be reported to Warrensburg, paid by Warrensburg, and then reimbursed after Warrensburg completes an online specific form that goes to Missouri, goes to Mark, Missouri. Mark is managing the reimbursement for personnel, mileage, well, not mileage, yes, mileage. They're providing one meal and lodging
If needed.
if needed. So if they are being paid by Warrensburg, and it's just straight time pay because they're not actually on working for Warrensburg, they're mutually aiding Kansas City. I'm trying to figure out, how are you going to avoid overtime pay?
So that's a good question. More than likely it will be overtime pay.
Okay,
And
because they
that's why
reimburse.
officers are also interested on it.
Okay.
Depends on their shifts that week. Did they take vacation? How's that all working? And they're still working for the city of Warrensburg, for the Warrensburg Police Department, assisting that agency. Just like we do at all given times, whenever other agencies, Johnson County Sheriff's Office asks us for assistance, we go assist them. They're still working for the Warrensburg
Oh.
Police Department, and they follow our policies and procedures.
Okay, all right, that helps. Oh, I just lost my thought. Go on to somebody else. It'll come, oh. So they'll reimburse for all benefits that are, all the total cost of wages also includes benefits, so the total.
Whatever, what we submit to them, they should reimburse for.
Yeah, they have a reimbursement rate to us that's higher than just the hourly rate, and it is to offset
So it would include
FICA and
FICA
loggers and health insurance and.
all of that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, the other reassurance that I want personally is that when our officers go up there to work to help out for the World Cup, that they're doing they're doing things that are World Cup related, and that they're not patrolling Kansas City streets. I don't want our people patrolling Kansas City's.
So the meetings have been starting. We have been attending some of those. I'm not giving the green light for them to go patrol KC Mo. They're supposed to be helping for that event, and that's what the mutual aid's for.
Only for helping with that
For
event.
that event. Now, if something comes out and they need our assistance, hey, we're police officers. That's what our job is. We're to assist and help. So.
But it would have to be something unusual.
Under the mutual aid, yes, it's an emergency. Any type of emergencies can
Okay.
happen at any given time.
If you recall the Super Bowl event where there's a
Yes, yeah.
shooting, that may redirect Kansas City officers, which may then cause everything to have to shift.
Okay. All right.
It's very fluid, right?
Yeah.
It's, so
I just don't want to,
I understand what you're saying. I totally understand, and I care for the officers as well. But that's the agreement they're asking for. They're asking for assistance. It's a large thing to take on, so.
thank you.
Do we have any current agreements with KCPD?
We don't have any on file except for this one that I'm bringing.
I didn't hear what did you ask?
Were there any other agreements on, that we, with KCPD?
So they have assisted us, just under state mutual aid with our homicides that we've had in the past, and, we've had a couple drive-by shootings within the last, 3-4 years that they've assisted us with in the investigation. So they've always been more than eager to help. But no agreement's been signed regarding it.
Then as far as
They're
the,
just trying to stay ahead of making the requests, state mutual aid, if an agency requests, we're covered under state mutual aid. This is just putting it in writing.
gotcha.
This is way better.
Yes. This is getting ahead of the game.
Yeah,
Now,
proactive.
that's why I'm bringing it to you now. I understand you got all this other on your plate in regarding to FIFA, but I'm trying to stay ahead of it as well, in case we do get called.
Well, we appreciate that too.
Yes, we do.
I apologize for maybe getting down in the weeds on this, but looking over the agreement itself, we'd be entering an agreement with KC 2026 for you to provide mutual aid to KCPD. Is that how I'm reading it?
There's actually two. There's the mutual aid agreement with the KCPD. There's the reimbursement agreement with KC 2026.
Gotcha. So that's the payment side of it will come directly from them. Okay.
And he brought that to my attention. We were kind of going back and forth last week. I was out of town at training, and so we included that in on this ordinance. That way we get it covered all in one. And that payment side of it, I mean, like I said, they never charged us for assisting us during those investigations, but we have that option here. So it's good that we have that option for the payment.
So we are gonna ask for reimbursement, aren't we?
We're gonna
Yeah,
try.
for sure.
They're offering it, so.
Okay.
And that was part of when I read it.
Well,
It's usually when they have basically FEMA money, basically federal money, and
Right.
basically you turn it in and they reimburse. So
They have federal money, so they
Yeah.
should have plenty of extra just for this.
they wouldn't wrote it if they didn't. So,
There was-
no, I don't think. Shouldn't say that, so.
Yeah, that was allocated. It was actually a part of the one big beautiful bill, sounds like, from what I read there, that money specifically for safety, specifically for FIFA, so. And so I'm hopeful that this is something that your officers are able to do, because like you said, it's great professional development, especially for some of our younger officers. There's always a risk in that, but that's part of what officers sign up for, and I appreciate that. The couple of questions I noted, and just want to make sure I understood, is that if our officers do go up, you'll be using, obviously, they'll be using their own service weapons, and also ammunition, should they need to use it. That's something that
So
it's all
all
included.
supplied by the Warrensburg
Right.
Police Department, City of Warrensburg.
Yeah.
So
And if that we would also be liable if there were any kind of claims or damages or losses related to that. So we would be covering that if any of our officers were, goodness forbid, hurt, or if there was damage to a car, that kind of thing.
it'd be just like they were working in the city of Warrensburg, and whatever happens there, we're still liable, and they're gonna have their body cameras and that type of stuff on.
Sure.
too, So.
And that's very logical. I just want to make sure I understood that, but it does seem like it's a good opportunity to continue that regional collaboration with, really for a lot of folks, a once in a lifetime event. So,
It'll be a good experience for the officers, with all different kinds of, people around, so. And learning from other professional agencies would be a good experience for them. I was surprised I had 9,
Yeah.
actually interested, cause I think a lot of them are tired anyway,
Yeah.
from the staffing, but we had 9, so I'm like, all right, I better at least see if we can do it.
Don't let them take any of our officers away though.
That's my other concern.
We didn't make them sign it.
Hopefully they come back appreciating what they have.
Yeah.
There you go, yeah, that's right.
Greener on the other side.
Thanks, chief.
Thank you.
Move to second reading by title only.
Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the city of Warrensburg, Missouri to approve this mutual aid agreement with the Kansas City Police Department during the 2026 Federation International Day Football Association World Cup matches scheduled to occur in Kansas City, Missouri from June through July of 2026. This is for adoption or rejection. Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8.1, we're just going right through this so fast, so. Hang on. 8.1, a resolution adopting the city of Warrensburg Safety Action Plan and authorizing its submission and use for federal transportation safety grant eligibility, presented by Phil Adlich, Director of Public Works.
Evening, Mayor, City Council members, again, save time. I'm not going to do the whole presentation like they did last time. We brought this before you April 13th. Unfortunately, we forgot to attach the safety plan, but this time it is attached. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to read it. I will stand for any questions.
I sent in my comments. I
Yeah,
do appreciate
and your
you.
Comments were all reviewed and resolved.
I saw that. Thank you. I do appreciate that.
On the
We
new
wait for Susan to return.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Do we need?
we'll wait for
Mhm.
Susan. Yeah.
Wait for Susie to return.
Try to make it fast.
Anything you want to mention in there? We didn't have the countermeasures and things like the risk factors last time either. If you wanted to.
So, you know, it's the safety plan that was reviewed, the spots haven't been chosen on where we're going to actually do the.
Yeah, demonstration project. I always struggle with that
I
term
know,
too.
that's-
but-
But
Is
the
that-
demonstration projects, we haven't chose that spot.
Would that come before council or is that a staff decision later?
I anticipate it'll come before council. In part, it's kind of a policy decision and then there is expense associated with it. And it's grant funds, but there's still expense associated with it.
But there's an opportunity to not just do three. It says that we're going to do three, but if we have an opportunity with price, we might be able to do more than three, so. It's
And if
something
we-
that we will bring back in front of you to get your opinion.
And if we have extra where we could do more than three, I would really like those to be sidewalk kinds of things where we're protecting pedestrians as well as cyclists.
And part of the difficulty is when we submitted the original application, we identified demonstration projects associated with McGuire. They aren't necessarily needed anymore, but the Federal Highway Administration has said that we need to come back with demonstration projects in the same categories as we
I remember
originally
you saying,
proposed. And
okay.
that's been part of our struggle of identifying projects that still fit those categories.
So that is true through this grant cycle.
Right.
The next grant cycle, can we focus
Yes, we can.
on the next
Yep.
grant cycle? Can we focus on the recommendations that they made that included sidewalks, pedestrian and cyclist?
Yeah, we certainly can, as
For
part of
the-
our own programming as well, as we've got an extensive laundry list now of locations, suggested improvements, modifications. The other difficulty is some of the things that we might do aren't temporary. They would be, the demonstration projects are supposed to be, you try it, you measure it, you see if it's effective, you make a decision about implementation. Some of these things are pretty straightforward recommendations we could just go ahead and implement.
Timeline again, there's deadline of end of May. We hear back by end of summer.
Yes, more than likely. So we have to have it all done by February of 2027.
The demonstration
That's the
project.
demonstration, that's the research and then result back to you.
Yeah, but then there's another round that I think she mentioned in her presentation that we can make application, and I want to say it's May 26th, yeah.
We have to, for us to get into that round, we need to have this approved so that we can get all this started, so that it can go into the next round of the SS4A grants.
And what we've identified for that grant application is more significant in terms of scope and cost than sidewalk projects. It is the Cooper and McGuire intersection, the Russell and McGuire, Young and McGuire. We expect that, we don't expect that we'd be awarded all of that, but the thinking was make application for all three of those, and then the agency might say, well, we won't do three, but we'll do one or two.
And that's a
Through
next
this
year
thing,
item.
Or through this one, the data shows that those are our dangerous intersections.
Yeah, so that application will come back as an action item between now and May 26th.
Oh, so that'll be this year's submission. It's
Mhm.
the McGuire Street,
Yes,
3 intersections. Okay.
you'll hear SS4A for the next year and a half or
Love it.
longer.
Move to approve the resolution.
Susie, did you have anything?
Just,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
sorry, quickly. This is probably a silly question, but the crash data is data reported to PD, right? It wouldn't include crashes that were not reported to PD, but were reported to someone's insurance. I mean, there's no way to have that data, right? Yeah, okay. Just, and it may just be my laptop, my pad here, but I was trying to click on some of the links under the plans and ordinances section, and the links weren't live. So I don't know if anyone else had that issue. Did anyone else have that issue?
Yeah, but
Were you
I
able to-
forgot, but yeah, I did.
Okay, so you could not link, they were not live. Okay, just, if it's possible to, let's see, that's page 26.
Burns and McDonald's can do that.
Page 26. Just so it'd be nice to be able to link to those. I think they were supposed to be able to link. And Vision Zero, I looked that up because I know you may have talked about that while I was out. Yes, it's a great concept. I'm glad we're looking at that. The concept that we should work towards having zero fatalities.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just wanted to say how much I appreciate all the work and the policies, suggestions all make a lot of sense to me, those on page 31 and partly 32. So I appreciate that. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
So we have a resolution here.
Motion to approve resolution is presented.
Sorry.
Oh,
Actually, it was already.
it was already there. Okay, good.
I went down.
I'm still learning.
Discussion. Okay, we're done with discussion, correct?
Yes.
Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Oh my
Item 9, mayoral appointments. Motion to approve mayoral appointments as follows. Reappoint Eddie Osborne as city council representative for the Warrensburg Property Rehabilitation Corporation. Reappoint Eddie Osborne as a mayor representative for the Planning and Zoning Commission. Reappoint Jan Jones as city council representative for Planning and Zoning Commission. Appoint Bruce D. Euler as city council representative for Diversity and Inclusion Commission. Reappoint Susie Latari as city council representative for the Energy Sustainability Task Force. Appoint Max Ridenhour as city council representative for Parks and Recreation Board. Reappoint Eddie Osborne as city council representative for Arts Commission. Appoint Jan Jones as city council representative for Warrensburg Convention and Visitors Bureau. Appoint Max Ridenhour as city council representative for Traffic Commission. Reappoint Bruce Euler as city council representative for Tax Incremental Financing Commission, and appoint Susie Latari as city council representative for the Johnson County Economic Development Corporation.
Move to approve the slate as presented.
Ridenhour,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm thinking there were names on there and now they scratched them out, right? That's what I thought.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appearances to council not listed on the agenda. There are none. Miscellaneous matters from the mayor and or city council, anything? Community partner updates, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Johnson County.
It's a report only.
Yep. City staff updates, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you well know, last week we conducted orientation training for the city council that included an orientation session, a financial review, and then Councilman Ridenhour and Latari and City Clerk Jody Schneider attended newly elected official training put on by Midwest Public Risk on Friday of last week. As far as the one thing to share with you, Wednesday of this week through Friday of this week, I'll be attending the Missouri City Managers Association Conference. And then Sunday of this week through Wednesday of next week, I'll be attending the Strategic Deterrent Coalition Symposium in Alexandria, Virginia. So I'll be staying in touch by email, but I will be out of office essentially for a week with those two back-to-back sessions. I do know staff has some good news to report by way of updates, and I won't steal their thunder, but be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Condolences to the family.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
So father-in-law is passing last week, and we're kind of working our way through that, but it was very peaceful and it went about as well as you could hope.
Administrative Services Department, Jessica.
I just want to give a huge kudos to Caroline here for all of her help with the audit. It wouldn't be possible. As well as Tony and Carrie in the finance department. They do a lot of the legwork and make us all look good. And for those of you who like the PAFR, the smaller, pretty version of the ACFR, that'll be out soon as well. Been working on that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica.
City Clerk,
Nothing this evening, Mayor and City Council. Thank you.
Community Development,
Nothing additional.
Fire Department, Parks Department.
I guess I wasn't going to steal their thunder.
Okay.
Cutting soon.
Building walkway or
Your
was
walkway's
delivered
in.
today, correct?
It's in. You're having a ribbon cutting, right?
This is big news.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and council members. It is good news that the equipment to start the floating bridge has been delivered and it's gonna go in Lions Lake, as you know, so very excited about that. We have two of the bobbers, the third one's still missing. But city manager sent me some really good information from the Arts Council, also came from Marcy. Thank you very much in regards to the bobber itself, as well as some contacts and also maintenance of the bobber in regards to proper paints, things such as that. So I appreciated that very much. We'll be working on that. Also, just to let you know, a reminder, this Wednesday is the ribbon cutting for the front desk of the community center. We're excited about that. Hope you can attend. That's at 5 o'clock. Also, we'll have another ribbon cutting on May 9th, which is a Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for the, I guess I would say, the restarting of the Park Foundation for the 21st century. And it's at Hawthorne Park because the committee has already decided that donations would go. Their first project would be assisting with the Sensory Garden Trail. I think I mentioned that before. But, and that's all I have this evening, unless you have any questions.
Oh, that's the one.
Are you for sure that event on the 9th is at 10 o'clock? The chamber sent an email saying it was at 9 o'clock. So just, they might have it wrong, so you might need to.
Well, I'll check with
Correct
our
them.
chairman because Scott Holm, he's the one that
Yeah.
set that up.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
told me 10, but if it's 9, it's posted as 9, we'll say it's 9. I'll just check back. Thank you for pointing
Yeah.
that out. I
I'll
didn't
have
know
to
that.
be late, but I'll be
Oh, that's okay.
there.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Great news all around.
Yeah. And I want to say thanks to Citizens for Environmental Action, Lions Club, Parks Department. I represent the Rotary Club, but we cut out a bunch of invasive honeysuckle there Friday afternoon on southwest hill of Lions Lake.
Yeah.
Got a lot of brush out.
Yeah, a lot. Really appreciate Parks picking that stuff up
Yeah.
because it was a big job.
Keep after
And
it.
it's very exciting because last year when we started, that was the first time the Energy and Sustainability Task Force kind of took that on. We didn't
Yep.
see them, but this year there are lots and lots of May apples, which is this beautiful little native flower that were not able to get enough sun last year, and now they're coming up. So it's pretty cool.
Police Department.
So if you know, retired Chief Gene Burden.
Oh, yeah.
In the police department, please keep him in your thoughts and prayers for his family. He's going through some, medical stuff, and Donna, I know, was, staying on top of it, but just so everyone's aware with that. And then, Major Mike Fiddler went up to FBI headquarters in Kansas City today and completed his, physical agility to be accepted into the FBI command school at Quantico. He passed it, so I know he's been training pretty hard for the last year for it. So I've been trying to keep him motivated, and he's done a great job. So that's exciting news for him.
Yep.
And we have 3 more final interviews this week for applicants, and we'll see where that goes. So,
Great.
thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Public Works.
Chris stole my thunder.
Darn, Chris. When it was pouring down rain this morning, I drove down McGuire Street just to see, and
Woo.
it's the best it's ever looked of
Yeah.
drainage. That was a lot of rain
Water
coming down.
Oh
my
I drove
gosh,
by
yeah.
Shepherd Park. I'm sure you drove around, and
I was out during that torrential rain.
Yep.
Stupidly, it was not a good idea, but I went past that section of McGuire. It was a lake. Like, okay, this is really great evidence for why we need that retention basin.
I
So
think it was great today. I
Yeah.
mean, it really
It's doing better.
much better, much better.
yeah,
Still a lot of water.
All right.
Lots of water.
Marcy,
so much.
we're done.